We have the Vendetta hero gameplay trailer, okay? Just to confirm before we start this, yes, it has been confirmed. Vendetta is a DPS, okay? There was a lot of back and forth if it was a DPS or a tank. Confirmed 100% this is a DPS hero. Let's find out. Here we go. I like the footprints. I remember that from the other teaser. Is that like a flight into the air?
Pathetic.
Good voice line to start.
Leave no survivors. You're finished.
Ooh.
Disgraceful. Not good enough.
There's the deflect people we're seeing. So it's like a Genji deflect almost. Yeah. Woo!
Dirt beneath my heel.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Oh no! See ya!
Enough games.
Okay, that was sick. Yeah, this hero's cool.
Taste the Palatine thing. Know your place.
Dude, the way the sword slams down on them like you're slicing like butter or something.
Oh, impressive.
Wait, you can go back to you like you can recall to your sword?
And so my reign begins.
Okay, yeah, that was sick. Listen, I'm a tank player, and I still think that was sick. I'm not even mad. Honestly, like, listen, I love tanks, but I gotta be real with you. That character looks sick. I'm gonna be real. That was a sick trailer too, by the way. Holy crap. That was a really cool trailer. And someone pointed this out, by the way, from the previous trailer. They kept the trend going of the newest hero killing the previous hero. You notice that? That's why they made a big deal of that Wu Yang thing. Apparently, in every hero trailer they've done with gameplay, they always kill the previous hero that just released. So that's why Wu Yang did that. Apparently, that's been a thing they've done with each trailer. They bring it back. So Vendetta's abilities are officially here too, on top of the gameplay trailer. So we'll go through everything. We have the Palatine Fang. Again, I don't know if I said it wrong, my bad. Apparently it's a hard light greatsword. The combo swings to end with a destructive overhead slash. Also, that overhead slash looks sick. Warden stance, you can block with your sword, reducing frontal damage and deflecting melee attacks. Blocking damage depletes energy. So those are your weapon ones. Talks about the block, all that. So the block aspect did exist. Everybody saw that correctly in the first trailer. This is a DPS, yes. Abilities. Your first one is Soar and Slice. You hurl your sword in the direction you were facing and then fly to it. So you throw it up in the air, you go to your sword. Whirlwind Dash. Rush forward into a circular slash. So you just go forward and you do like a slash. And then Projected Edge. Available while Warden Stance is active. Consume energy to fire a wide projectile. So my guess is there's like a combo with like you Warden Stance to build up that like energy, and then you consume the energy and you fire the item. So I think that's going to be a really cool aspect of it. So the abilities sound really cool, right? The abilities sound really cool. Now we're going to have to see how it plays, but I am super pumped for the playtest next week. There's also a passive called Onslaught. If you strike enemies, you increase movement and attack speed. So when you do actually get to somebody, you then have increased movement and attack speed. Oh, wait, I get it now. I get how Warden Stance works now. So just to go back and circle back to that. So basically the way it would work is you have an energy. When you block, it depletes it. Then you have another ability that you can use called Projected Edge. And then that would also consume energy. So it sounds like it's like you have a choice. You either block or then you can use that to consume the energy. So it's kind of probably like a decision you have to make, but a lot to figure out there. For the perks, we have Siphon and Strike, minor level 2 perk. Overhead Strike will gain 30% lifesteal, so when you do that, that sounds pretty cool. And then Relentless is Onslaught, can stack 3 more times, increasing attack speed by 5%. and movement speed by 4% per stack. So it sounds like you can buff your onslaught quite a bit. For the major perks, we have Swift Vengeance. Last player to land a kill and blow on you becomes a target. Eliminate the target to gain 125 overhealth and reset cooldowns. So you're telling me that if somebody gets you and you go eliminate them later on, you then get 125 overhealth and more cooldowns. Holy crap, that's like a revenge, I guess a vendetta. And then Rage and Storm. Whirlwind Dash continues to spin, hitting 3 more times for 40 damage in a wide area. I will admit, I don't know too much about Whirlwind Dash, but I'd have to see how it plays, but that's really cool. So, Vendetta looks sick. I'm excited to try this out. Obviously, I will admit, I'm still slightly disappointed it's on a tank. As a tank player, I love new tanks. Hopefully, we get a tank next new hero, which would be, holy crap, not till April, but you never know. Hopefully, right? But she looks really fun. I'm excited to try her. And there you go. Looks cool. I'm looking forward to trying her. So chat, believe it or not, Vendetta also has an ultimate. It's called Sunder and Blade. It cleaves through most defenses, dealing severe damage to enemies in front of you. It looks really cool in the in the video of that. I was going over everything, and I just completely forgot. I was reading everything. I just didn't read ultimates. There you go. There's your ultimate. Most people saw it, but it looked really cool during the trailer. So that is the ultimate. Excited to play the hero. You said you personally don't see them adding another tank until they make tanking fun again. Do you want my like hot take, or maybe it's not a hot take? It's not that tank isn't like necessarily fun. It's just that 5v5 tank is a little bit of there's a lot of an ask on 5v5 tank sometimes. And I've noticed that with playing more of the open queue. Just, I play more like 5v5 and I don't mind it. But what I've realized is that the amount of pressure you don't have on you as a tank in 6v6 in comparison to 5v5 is like night and day, right? So it's not about them like making tanks fun. Like, truthfully, if I'm having a good game on, let's say, Hazard, I'm having a blast. But the problem is that it's not the whole lobby having a blast at that point. And I think that's where I think they're still trying to figure out how do you not make tanks be like these massive HP pools that just block, right? So it's one of those things where, yes, I think that, they could do a little bit, stop going down just give tank a block or like a damage reduction. Go more of like that queen route. How you fix that in like that setting for a tank, I don't know. I don't know if you ever can, because like no matter what, you're the solo tank, you're taking all the pressure, like you're gonna have that. So I have a feeling eventually they'll look at tanks, but right now, like I think their vision is that there's so many DPS and support like players that why even do that right now? Like prioritize that and then eventually go back there. And again, I want to reiterate one more time. I actually think this hero looks really sick, and I'm excited to play this hero next week. Now to the tank discussion that we're talking about. One thing I have said to this is that my concern is that the further they go away from not putting a tank into the game, the more likely that you're going to have less and less players queuing tank. Straight up. The players are just, maybe the numbers aren't there, right? I don't have that data, so I could be BSing. But like, the further you go away from not giving tanks something new to play with, the tanks they're gonna go play other roles or try other stuff, and then just what happens though, here's the problem. And I don't know if anybody in my chat here a tank player who now plays a lot more support in DPS? I'm just out of curiosity. No, yep, me, yep. Okay. So first of all, the reason why I asked that question is because I am a tank player. I play a lot of tank. But then I started the flex queue. And when I flex queued, I went, holy crap. DPS and support are really good right now. Like really fun. So I started to play them more. So when you rotate between the roles, if I had to go based off of how much fun I had on each role, it went support, DPS, tank, and 5v5. In 6v6, I would go tank, support, then DPS, right? So it's one of those things where I've discovered that recently with how fun it feels. That's why I asked that question. The point I'm making is when I asked that question, the problem is that a lot of the tank players in the 5v5 setting have tried the other roles and go, wow, this is a really good time. I'm not getting as much pressure from people on this one. This is great. I can do my own thing, and I can watch my tank feed and then get mad at my tank. You get what I'm saying? Like, so when you skip that or you don't give the tank players that, the tank players are going to be frustrated. That's why you're probably seeing that reaction, because like it's when I love tanking, but like it is when you tank, you take all the damage, you have all the pressure on you, you have all the people like blaming you, and that becomes a problem with tanks sometimes. Again, I don't mind it because I love the competitiveness of it, but I understand the pain point and the frustration from people who play the tank role and would be frustrated in this scenario. So, that makes sense? Well, the counter pick is a whole different story. That is the next level of that one. The problem with counter picking, and we'll rotate back to the tank discussion here, is that every single player in a game thinks that the tank is the only one who needs the counter pick. That's not the problem. If I'm a Zarya, right? Say I'm playing on D.Va. The other person goes Zarya, all right? I go, okay, I can't play D.Va now. Like, this is, I don't really want to deal with this. Truthfully, you can play D.Va in 5v5 against a Zarya. So I swap Zarya. Okay, now their DPS swaps Bastion. And then you go, oh, I can't deal with this Bastion. I need to play more passive. Then your teammate's like, Zarya, push in. What are you doing? Zarya, come on, get in there. It's like, they have a Bastion and like, you cannot, Zarya's number one hard counter on DPS is generally Bastion. Get in there. Come on. I can't push. Can somebody else do the same thing? No! You're only the one supposed to switch, not me. So, that's a whole nother layer of it that basically, like, sometimes in the counter swap game, you also need your teammates to swap with you to make it work, but then they don't want to do that. You're the one, again, whole experience there. So what's the point of skipping tank, though? I mean, it could be multiple things, right? We don't know what, like, their future plans are either. Like, we don't know what their future plans are, of course. I mean, maybe they do 2 tanks in a row or something, right? Maybe they wanted to finally kind of change, like, they wanted to kind of go into, actually, there's also another thing here too. And again, this could be this would be the timing to do it. Okay? Chat, in about, what is it, the 20th? Okay, about a week after December 9th, Blizzard goes on break for 3 weeks. I think they might be a little bit hesitant after what happened with Mauga. And a little bit of Hazard. So they go on break for like 3 weeks. So, I think they're trying to avoid getting the call there. Again, I'm just trying to come up with theories here. I don't know if that's the case, but, they've had the last couple of December releases have been a little bit rough for the tank on that one because but at the same time,